Alright, well, I went down to my local Hobby Lobby, aka the junkyard, and I got a few microwaves. Now, in these microwaves, there's like a transformer in here, and if you know how to just change it up just so, you can actually make a super strong electromagnet out of it. So I just bought a drill press, like a bench, not a bench, but a freestanding drill press, and I want to make a magnetic work table for it, so you don't have to clamp everything down when you're using it. You can just put your piece on there and then turn on the switch and the magnet will just hold it right down. So it's really quick and easy to do stuff. And you know, I can get these, I got all 3 microwaves at the scrapyard for 10 bucks for all of them. So you really can't miss there. There's the transformer right there. That's what I'm after. So I'm gonna get that out of each one of these microwaves. I only need 2, but I got a spare because who knows what else I'll want to do with them. You gotta discharge the cap, something insulated, and touch across the capacitor terminals, and that shorts it out. Get him, Ruger, get him. Just like that. 2 more to go. Alright, so I got done working in the transformer mines and I had a good harvest here. I want to note one thing is in the magnetrons, there's magnets in there, but these are not worth taking apart. There's like a ceramic insulator in these, and I think they're made out of, I think they're called beryllium oxide or something like that. And if you chip them and any of it becomes airborne, it can be fatal if it gets into your lungs. It's a super big deal. So don't even mess with them, they ain't worth the time. Really the only thing useful in them is the transformers, unless you want some of these micro switches or some little relays and stuff, but that stuff's so cheap. But yeah, my advice is just don't mess with the magnetron at all. It's not worth it. Alright, so I got all the transformers. I only need 2. It looks like they're all the same size, even though there were a whole bunch of different size microwaves. And you know these are the good ones because they say danger all over them. So the next step is in here you have your primary winding and you have your secondary winding. And I only want the primary winding. So if you look, you can kind of see where they're welded up. Like that. If you cut the weld out, this whole stack right here will just come right off and you can pull out your windings. You can get rid of your secondary and just keep your primary. And that's all I want. I just want the primary in here. So let's chop them. I don't like that toggle switch. I think the next one I'm going to get is going to be a paddle switch. So you don't have to go crazy deep. You just got to get past that weld. Not that this is an instructional video. But I can't control what you do. That is stupid. Now you just want to ever so gently just tap it off. Like that. And it'll come right off. There you have it. We want to save that winding. And we don't care about this one. Nice and crunchy. Not too bad. Now this one we don't care about. Really glued in there. Get the glue out of there. I just got a 12-volt battery right here. Come on. What in the world? Oh, quality connection right there. All right, here we go again. That's more gooder. Doesn't matter, negative or positive. Not that this is an instructional video. Okay, now I'll hook it to the battery. And let me put my gloves on. Some sharp edges on that. All right. Oh yeah, I could easily lift this little bench off the ground. That is a proper magnet. And I'm gonna use 2 of these bad boys. I think that'll hold down anything you're working with. Maybe I'll do something cool with the other one. I got another one here I was playing with that I really butchered, so maybe I'll make that into something later. Sometimes when these plates separate on you, if you gotta be real abusive with them, they'll try and separate, so you wanna put on the crappiest weld you possibly can on there, that way they don't fall apart. All right, I'm gonna do the rest of these and we'll move on to the next step. All right, so I'm messing around with this again. Here's what I'm thinking. So I took the windings out so I wouldn't mess them up while I'm doing any of this. I wanna go put one here, put a pipe in the center, put another one here. This way you can drill down the center of it and none of this stuff will be in the way. And then I found, that's a little twisted, I might try and straighten that. My old clothesline, rest in peace. And I'm gonna box it in like that, and then I'll put some sort of attachment out here. You gotta leave a gap here because your winding needs space. So that works out pretty good that way. And I'll have to probably build something up to go a little taller. And then I'm thinking either I want to epoxy it in here or put like a thin steel plate up here. I'm not sure yet. I'll play around a little bit and figure out what works best. All right, that looks pretty straight right off the start. We'll shim this up with something nice and flammable. All right, so here's where I left off. I got the stacks welded to the pipe. I welded it up really well because I did not want that coming loose, so it's tacked all the way around. And then I welded up all those plates I showed you. All right, word of wisdom, don't use twisted metal. This was slightly tweaked when I pulled the clothesline out of the ground with the backhoe. It had like, oh man, it probably had 400 pounds of concrete underneath it, and it twisted it a little bit when it come out of the ground. And I fought and I fought and I fought this thing to get it all straight. And I think I did a pretty decent job, but boy was it a fight. So yeah, just, unless it's really nice and straight, just go get some new metal. Especially for something that small and it's gotta be that precise. That wasn't worth it. So now, this fits in here pretty nice. So I'm gonna mount that so it just sits all the way down on the bottom, and I'm gonna tack it in there so it doesn't move. I don't wanna go too crazy with the welding in case I ever wanna change these out. Of course, if I epoxy them in, then you'll never be able to change them. I don't know, maybe I'll weld them in good. I don't want them to get, this thing's gotta be robust. Let's overdo it if we're gonna do it. All right, here's what I got so far. Not real gorgeous, but it's pretty cool. The stack is slightly higher than this, and I knew it was gonna be, so I'm not sure how I'm gonna deal with that yet. But everything's in there, so it's all welded in real nice. I welded the back, and then I kind of ground that a little bit because I felt like it stuck up just a little bit, so I just kind of cleaned it up. And yeah, just gotta figure out what to do with this. Okay, here's what I arrived at so far. I'm just gonna make a metal top for it. I'm gonna make it out of this angle iron. So I'll go like this, and I want the flanges out because it gives you a chance, if you need to for some reason, you can stick a clamp under it and give it extra clamping. And I think that'd be nice. So I'm gonna go like that, put it together like this all the way around it so the whole thing just sits down on it, and I'll use like a piece of sheet metal for the top. And then I'd also like to probably drill and tap it, because then the top's removable. Like a lot of these other ones, they're not, it's all epoxied and stuff. This way you can take the top off if for some reason you burned a coil out or need to make some sort of a change, and you can still service everything. So keep working on that. Ignore the hurricane that it sounds like I'm getting outside. It's really windy out here in this old pole barn. So just like, oh, that didn't work. Good thing I tacked it. Hey, I never said I was a fabricator. Somebody sold me a welder one day and it was just all downhill from there. That's way more gooder. Next. Not too shabby. There you have it. I just spot welded it all the way around, and that should work pretty good. It's a pretty tight fit, so you gotta kind of persuade it. Alright, I wire wheeled it all the way down to primer and got all the loose paint off, and I'm gonna go with 1/4 by 20. Alright, we're gonna break out the Harbor Freight tap and die set. This is always interesting. You know, really I can't complain. This set's been pretty darn good. You wouldn't think so, but I haven't broke one yet. melted my soldering iron a couple days ago. So we're just gonna go, oh come on. Just gonna go with crimp-on terminals. So I'm going to go for a series connection because it'll draw a little less power that way. I think I'm just going to go for like a, I don't know, 15 amp, either an 8, no, I think I was looking at 10 or 15 amp DC power supplies. I think either one of those will do it. You don't need a crazy amount. I don't quite fit that perfectly, but that'll do it. You got a problem with that, well, just hush. Well, now I'm changing out these terminals to flag terminals because nobody told me that the top would hit those and push them over and then they'd pop off. So thanks for the looking out, guys. Okay, it's all wired up. Let's put the top back on it. Actually, let's put some sort of a strain relief on that so you can't pull the wire out of it. No reason to overthink it. Man's best friend, zip ties. It's either that or duct tape. You choose. Oh yeah. Have a look at that. That's a proper magnet setup right there. Oh man. Where'd all this goop come from? Oh, I bet you that's from my dielectric grease. Yeah, it died. It died alright. What a waste. I'll just put it in a baggie. What? If you're watching this, you're probably cheap too. Why waste it? Okay, I drilled out my hole, ready for assembly. Perfect. Okay. See if I can let the magic smoke out of it. Maybe I do want to go for parallel. Let's try and give it a little more oomph. So I didn't change any connections or anything. I left it alone. I figured maybe my battery supply wasn't quite enough. It's 12 volt, 3 amp hours. I mean, it's not a very big battery. I just use it for testing stuff. So I got it on my battery charger down here, and I'll set it to 10 amps, and we'll see what that does. Nice and thick. Oh yeah. No problem there. You have to like twist it on its angle here and not get your fingers in it. Then you can just pull it off. But that's got some power. This is what I call my "it ain't pretty, but this is what you're getting" paint. No matter what you paint, it pretty much always makes it look nice, even if it's a piece of crap. Safety Blue 7524. I find myself using it a lot. Check out this bad boy. What more do you want? All right, you talked me into it. Check it. Look at that. No hands. Tell me that won't work. All right, so you can see it's not bolted or nothing. I'll turn it off. There it goes. Boom. Very nice. All right, so here's some features that I really like about this thing. It's got the metal top on it that's unboltable, so you can take it out if you burned out a coil or something, or you want to make any changes. Really easy to do. 4 bolts, top comes right off. Another thing I really like is the angle iron that hangs over the side. So if you got something that you really got a big saw going on it or something, or you just need more clamp, you got something to clamp to. You can clamp all the way around this thing. So it gives you more options. Like if you had a piece of wood, obviously wood's not going to stick to it, so you can still clamp and don't have to take this off. And for the power supply, I think I'm just going to put a little plastic box over here. And I found 10 amps DC works really well. So if you just Google 10 amp 12 volt DC power supply, you'll find a million of them. Not hard to come by. So I'm going to put that there. This will tie into that box, and the DC power supply will tie into that box as well. You can plug it in, and I'd like to put a little light up switch over here so you know what's on. So you can come over here, flip the switch, put your piece of metal on it, and pinch your fingers in it, and then, you know, it really sets the mood for the day. But I'll show you here. Set it for 10 amps. You can hear it suck right down, and you're not going to lift that off. I mean, look at that. That ain't going nowhere. So that's going to be really nice. Easy peasy. Thanks for watching, guys.